What's happening, everybody? All right. So we were supposed to go on at 4:00. But for some reason, I don't know where it came from. We had one heck of a storm blow up in this area. So we put it off for just a little bit and kind of regrouped when the storm passed. The lightning, the thunder. Oh my. It was just crazy.
At least you didn't have to drive in it like I did.
I know. It was nuts. It was like a monsoon for 30 minutes almost.
That was my drive.
Yay. Nothing but fun. Anyway, big news for everybody. I am actually telling this now because we have gotten everything started. Everything is in the works. As soon as my house sells in Portland, we will be moving back to Nashville, Tennessee. A lot of people are wanting us down there, and well, we figured what the heck, let's oblige them because Caitlin's got to drive from Nashville to Portland all the time.
You changed that clap. It is so aggressive.
I know, right?
It scared me.
Did it really? I'm sorry. I can change it back. It's crazy, but we're looking at getting a studio in Nashville. So there will be things sent out and everything else when all that actually does happen. I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch because, like I said, we're selling this house and I will be getting somewhere else in Nashville, and we will have the studio in Nashville. And that's what everybody's looking forward to. And I am too, because it's going to be so much fun having more people actually being able to come into the studio. You can hit the clap button again. Yay! There we go. Love it. All right. So I'm thrilled to death to have this next person on because this lady has done so much. And I know a bunch of you are thinking, oh, it's another artist. No, it's not. This woman has such a big, she does more work than I do. I'm telling you, it's crazy as I'll get out. But she's doing, like artist development and helping artists get all their stuff together, teaching them about some social media stuff. And she's one heck of a producer. That's, those people that you really don't see that much, but if you read the album, it's down at the very bottom. It tells who the producer is and all this other stuff. Kind of like on my show, you'll see producer and Caitlin's on there on the bottom of the YouTube and the Buzzsprout and all that other good stuff. It's interesting. It's fun. And I love having conversations with this. So let's get Miss Sheri Yarbrough up. Hi, Sheri.
Hey, how are you?
I'm still tired.
Well, thank you for having me on, David. I really appreciate it.
Well, I mean, you get messages all the time, and then you got to research people and stuff. And then you have those moments where you actually have somebody that's actually accomplished a lot of things like you have and is doing such a great job, in helping artists out and producing the music and all this other stuff. And then I was reading where you and the hubby actually do some movie soundtracks and stuff. And I was just like, wow. So that's another thing. So I was just like, you're working more than I am. So that makes me
It's fun. It really is. I love my job. I love doing all of it. I wear many hats. No pun intended. Pun intended. Yeah. It's a fun life. It is. It's stressful sometimes, but it's great.
Yeah, it's amazing. But so many of these artists actually need the help, and because you've got a lot of artists that are coming into town and then they get stolen by sharks and people wanting money out of them and all this other stuff. And then when there's credible people out there that these artists can actually talk to and work with, it thrills me to death because I was on the side where I was doing the production, the lights and the sound and all that other stuff.
Right.
And I could see these crazy people. They were just there to see how much money they could get out of them. And it blew me away. And I was just like, y'all got to start looking more. Y'all got to start doing some research.
Mm-hmm. That helps.
I mean, it's the internet age. You can put anybody's name in there and research all you want.
Find out anything you want and more.
Exactly. Even that time you was in Vegas, that was supposed to be quiet. You can find that out. I mean, it's crazy stuff.
Yeah, Jeff doesn't know that I married the movie star and came back and married him. So
Yeah.
in Vegas.
Well, Elvis probably married you. Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Well, let's get into it. I want to know about this producing stuff. What level of producer are you on that? Are you just like the finished product, taking care of all that? Or are you doing it at the recording stage, or where are you at on that?
I think I do something that's a little different, and I have songwriters who come to me and I help them. I teach songwriting, and so they'll take a class with me, and it's a process. We write the song and we put music to it, and these are beginning songwriters and advanced songwriters, and then we take it to Nashville and make the track for it and then record it. I produce the vocal. I have some wonderful engineering friends that's real important for a producer to have a good engineer. And I have several engineers that I work with in Nashville and also Jacksonville, Florida. But we take it and we produce it, get the final product. We usually just record one single at a time, and then I upload it for them and promote it and put it on Spotify and all the platforms, do radio promotion. And then if there's a movie that needs it, then I pitch it to a movie.
That is awesome, because that whole ball of wax that you just explained is so far out of a lot of people's reach,
It
because
is.
they show up, they've got a guitar, they got some songs that they wrote, or they're wanting to write more songs. They want to, I know several songwriters that they've got the song, but
Mhm.
they don't have the music to go with the song.
Right. Exactly. That's real important. It's a marriage between the music and the lyrics. And what I like about what we do at Sheri Productions is I have a lot of young people that I work with. Like I was in American Idol auditions all day yesterday with one of our artists, and and he's a songwriter too.
Right.
And so if the people's, let's say people my age, they may not listen to what's trending out there, but they have good lyrics. So they come to me and they'll give me the lyrics, and we take it to a younger one of our artists who's familiar with the sound of today. And I work with them, and they become a co-writer. And if someone needs help, not everybody needs help with that, but we'll put the younger generation with a seasoned generation and come up with something really wonderful.
Right.
That you put those two together, and then you got today's melodies and chord progressions with some really wonderful lyrics of people who lived life a little bit.
Yeah, it amazes me how much the music aspect of it has changed so much over the years.
It has, and it's important to keep up with the songwriting trends. Rhyme today is not the same as it was 20 years ago. We don't rhyme just on the ends of the lines anymore. We rhyme inside the line and we rhyme on the end, and then there's rhythmic rhymes. And this line has the same rhyming number of syllables as this rhyme. And it's very technical. And country music in Nashville is just the best songwriting that there is. I really don't listen to a lot of country music. I produce it. I mean, I listen to it to see what's new and all that, but I produce a lot of pop country and pop music because I work with a lot of young people. So
Oh, yeah.
they kind of keep me they keep me on my toes. Um,
I can imagine because it just it floors me because I've had several guests on the show that have been Americana, country, country
mhm,
pop, and just it, I remember when country music was here,
mhm,
and now country music today is everywhere. I mean, it's just
right.
all over, and it doesn't. But you remember back in the day when you'd have a country artist that actually branched out a little bit and did like a cross genre,
Yes.
and now it's like every other song.
Right. Right. You know what's really interesting is that I work with a lot of teens and I work with a lot of young adults, and they're not really they're into playlists,
Mhm.
but they're listening to their parents' music. Like all of my teens love 80s music. That's what they listen to mostly.
Yeah.
70s and 80s. And so they'll start talking about a song and I'm like, Queen, and Chicago, and that AC/DC. They
Oh
listen
yeah.
to their parents' playlists, and they love that music. They're like, 80s is just the best music. And I was like, I know, I grew up in the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah. But we can actually say something that they haven't experienced.
What's that?
We seen Ozzy when he first came out
Oh yeah.
solo.
Yeah.
We were at the concerts with Randy Rhoads as the guitarist. We've seen that. We've Iron Maiden come out. We've seen that. We've seen Rush. We've seen.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's the truth. I told one of my students just today, I said, the group Kiss with Gene Simmons. Yeah, I said, I snuck into the auditorium on a date and watched Kiss. I was like, just so many feet from him. And I saw Gene Simmons and the high heel boots and all the dramatic stuff that they are, and it was a wonderful concert. But he knew who Kiss was, and he yeah, he listens to the classics too. They're into classic rock, they really are.
well, it's wild because that everybody laughs at me because I'm a metalhead. I've always been a metalhead. I was in that '80s rock generation of rock, and some of today's country reminds me of Foghat and different genres back then. Leonard
Right.
Skinner when they first came out, and 38 Special and all of those, and I'm just like,
Great groups.
yeah, and it's just it blows me away how some of it is, and I've done a lot of interviews on at CMA Fest this year, and I did them last year, and the one thing that's impressing me the most is a lot of these younger artists tell you about listening and stuff like that, but they're also like Loretta Lynn is their favorite,
Mm-hmm. Right.
and Reba is one of their favorites, and I'm just like, dude, y'all have no idea, man. I mean, it's just the whole paving of country music that these artists actually did back in the day.
Right. Exactly.
I had TG Shepherd on, and I told a lot of people, y'all need to research this guy because TG was in the '90s, but
Mm-hmm.
he's been in country music actively for 50 freaking years, man.
Right.
And the things that guy did, and for country music and with country music is just phenomenal.
Exactly. And now there's TikTok, so anybody can be a star, no matter. No,
Yeah.
labels will choose like a certain age that you can really. They look at younger voices, younger people.
Mhm.
You really don't start on a label at 60 years old, but you get on TikTok and all these influencers, all these people are singing on TikTok. It's a whole different game now. now that we have social media and
Oh yeah.
independent artists and people who are my age and all ages on TikTok, getting all kinds of numbers and views. And I'm
Well,
helping one of my students put together their social media now, and helping build that. It's important, you
oh yeah,
have
you
to
got to
have
do
that
it.
social media
Well,
today.
during CMA Fest this year, when I was doing the interviews, one of my favorite questions to ask almost just about every artist, I asked them, when you release a song, do you sit and watch the numbers?
Yeah.
Because as a podcaster, sometimes when I do a show or something, it may be later on that night, or it may be the next day, or Julie or Caitlin will be going, "Hey, you know, 500 in a couple of days," and I'm like, "Sweet, love it," and but I noticed if I don't let somebody else tell me what the
Mm-hmm.
numbers are, then I will hoover over that phone
Yeah.
looking and watching. So that was my favorite question. I asked all of them. I was just like, do you just upload it and then walk away from it, or are you watching it, or do you have people that are watching it for you? And a lot of them were watch their own stuff.
Yeah, sure, they do. And it's interesting to see what videos get really high numbers and what videos don't. The
Yeah,
ones that you wouldn't think would get a lot of attention, and they're all the trends on TikTok. I know there's a country artist out there was watching today on TikTok. She's doing all the new trends, where they mouth the words of whatever the trend is, and that
yeah,
it helps your numbers. But today's promotion's totally different than it was back in the day.
yeah.
The artist has to be real involved with it,
Oh yeah,
and they do have to keep up with the trends, and they have to be on there, not just pictures but videos. And you'll see them release a song and then they're singing along with their own song in the car, and then it gets views and royalties from that end, plus radio, plus
yeah.
Spotify. And it seems like a lot of my videos do better on TikTok. It just depends. I have a good following on Facebook. I get contacted by industry people on LinkedIn and Instagram, but my numbers are bigger on TikTok and Facebook. But it's not all the time how many's watching, it's who's watching,
Yeah. Yeah, that's the big thing because, well, like Alexandra Kay, she does a thing in the morning where she's making her coffee and she'll either be singing a song or doing something. And
Yeah.
she's actually had a couple of bigger guests come on while she's making the coffee and they'll like poke their head in or something. So,
Yeah, that's great.
and it was just, it was something that I thought was just like a little goofy trend, but then it got to where it was happening all the time. And then the heifer goes and opens a coffee shop.
Huh.
And I
Wow.
was like, marketing genius right there. Who did that?
That's smart. Yeah, it's always thinking ahead
Yeah.
and marketing and promotion to working towards the bigger picture, and you start out small, and then like you're talking about, people go, oh, so that's what they were working towards. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But see, back in the day, uh, I've actually had a discussion with a lot of people about this. Back in the day, we did what was called a 4-song demo.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Yeah.
was to get so you could get booked at clubs and you could get, maybe get on with a tour or something like that.
Right.
And now they're doing 4-song EPs. And I'm like, I was lost the first time I heard 4-song EP. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. And the trends change so much with like we grew up, probably we grew up in the band era, so there's not those big bands anymore. I miss that. It's a lot of
Yeah.
solo artists out there, and it's great. I like listening to the solos, but there's just nothing like Bon Jovi and all those wonderful bands, and even going to the 70s, like the Doobie Brothers. And
Yeah.
yeah, I put a video out of the Doobie Brothers with some young people singing it. Listen to the Music is one of their songs. They called me. They called me and told me how much they liked it. It was one of the members, Chris Simmons. She's married to the, what's his name, Simmons. Anyway, and then there's the Tom. He's the one that wrote the song, and he called me, and he and I talked about it, and they were so nice, told me how much they liked the arrangement and everything.
Yeah.
And so they saw it on YouTube, and then they put it on their fan club, and it got up to 40,000 views overnight just because they put it on their fan club page. It's
Yeah.
just unreal. We weren't expecting that. We didn't know
Mm.
they'd see the song.
Well, that's what my social media girl, Brooke, she was like, because I called her and asked her a question. And I'm like, what's this sharing thing that, like, if somebody wants to post something, they can actually put your name down there if it's about you or around you as a collaborator. I said, what's going on with that? And she's like, you share the numbers with them. And I'm like, you're kidding me. And she's like, no, David, it's the newest thing here lately. People are sharing numbers and collaborating on things. And I'm like, yeah, I remember back in the day, the collaborating was when you had, Joe walk on stage and sing a song with you.
Yeah, that kind of collaboration.
And it blows me away how all of it is working now. So,
Yeah, totally different world. It really is.
well, I mean, I'm old school, just, I've had to learn a lot.
Oh yeah, we do. And technology changes so fast. Now there's AI and all the things that we have to learn with that. And now AI is creating songs and lyrics, and so now my songwriters are sending me stuff. I put this into AI and look what it did. And it, AI is great for coming up with different styles of music. I have yet to hear AI write lyrics that rhyme like today's music. It's still old school, which
Right.
is good. I mean, I'm sure to catch up later, but yeah, it's still rhyming old school, so that it hasn't beat us with that yet. We're still more creative than AI that way. But it can give you some good ideas. It's good to hear your songs sung pop or country or whatever style you want. You can put it in
Yeah.
there and just hear it sung, but you can't sell it. That's the thing. There's no royalties. Well, that may be changing soon, but you know, um, for you to get all the rights to your song, and if AI creates the music and you didn't, it's a different world with everything.
Yeah. But see, I'm that type, you can have AI write this and do that and all that other stuff, but it's still a computer.
It is.
It's not going to give you that raw emotion that
Right. It doesn't.
you're
There's
not
no
going to hear it.
passion. There's no passion with it.
Exactly. And that's what floors me about a lot of it. And then because I had a friend of mine, they wrote a song and then they were like, dude, you need to hear this. I put it through AI, and I'm like, it's not the same, brother. It's
No,
not the
it's not.
same. Yeah.
Lyrically, it's not the same. I will say that I think AI does good things musically as far as instrumentation,
Mm,
but no, not lyrically. No, there's nothing
well,
like the human heart that writes from experience and from different places of desperation or love and happiness, and the best songs are written out of hard times. You listen to all these country singers and they talk about what they went through to write the song. And my daughter is in Nashville now. She's on the Broadway circuit playing, and then she is a songwriter and starting to branch out there. And she's learning the cover tunes, but boy, she'll go through something. I was like, her name's Avery McCall. That's her stage name. And I was like, you're going to have a great song when you get through this. And she
Yeah.
will. That experience, the human experience is what, how long does it take to write a song? A lifetime.
Yeah.
It does.
And I didn't know your daughter was playing down on Broadway. And then after I was looking at some of your stuff, I stumbled on her and I started listening to her stuff. And I
Oh,
was
wow. Thank you.
and I was like, girl's got a set of lungs on her now.
She does. I'm real proud of Avery. She was teaching, she's a parapro in Florida and in Jacksonville, and she was like, my dream is to sing. I'm gonna move to Nashville. So she came to my house driving, and she's little, and she's driving a big old U-Haul truck by herself with all of her stuff loaded up. And she found a place in Nashville, moved in. She's moved several times since then. She's had roommates and, like everybody does when they're single. But now she's on her own. And she'll tell you she put this on her Instagram, but she was doing the waitressing job like everybody does, and she got let go. And that night she started getting gigs, and now she's full time.
Yeah.
And she is busy. She's like, Mom, I played 4 hours at this place and 4 hours this place, and I'm booked through. She stays booked. She's doing great. She's living the dream. But she's worked hard. But I think what a lot of people don't realize is it is hard work. You have to surround yourself with people who are smart
Yeah.
if you're just starting out. And so she surrounds herself with people who are experienced songwriters who are writing for artists. She's put herself with a lady who's worked with Paul McCartney. And then she gets to know other people in the circuit, and then she gets invited to sing with bands there. They let her fill in if somebody is absent, and they'll say, hey, do you know this song? If she doesn't know it, they'll say, can you go out and learn it and come back perform it? So she called me the other night. She's like, Mom, they want me to do this song I really didn't know. I went outside, learned it in 5 minutes, came back and and performed it. She said, but I loved it. And when you set your mind to do something, music's something that will never let you go. You can
Right.
try to quit it and it won't let you go. But it is a lot of hard work. It is smart work. It really is. You have to be smart. You have to
Hmm.
surround yourself with the right people. It takes a team. That's one thing I'll tell my artists, and I think that's one thing that we do provide is a strong team and a
Yeah.
positive team. Oh my goodness, having people who are encouraging and good at what they do too, but
Yeah.
encouraging and easy to work with. Nobody wants to work with somebody difficult. They
Oh
want to
yeah.
work with someone fun, someone who's smart, someone who knows what they're doing, someone connected, you know. Um, all those things go into it. It's like somebody said, it's really about 20% talent. That's the truth, because there's so much business to this that you have to know. There's so much social marketing, social media marketing you have to do. There's different trends to learn in songwriting. There's a lot of to be educated about.
Oh yeah. Because back in the day, it was you had to do your bio. Now you got to do a bio, you got to do a one sheet, you got to do a sponsorship deck, you got to do all this stuff. And I'm just like, it blows me away how all of it comes together. I mean, it's
Right.
even with podcasting, you got a lot of people out there that they're not doing what they're actually supposed to do.
Right.
Number one, you got to get a business license because, yeah,
There you go.
this is a business.
It is a business. It's called the music entertainment business for a
Yep,
reason.
exactly.
I have a nonprofit and an LLC. So for the young people who want to record, then we have sponsorships through the nonprofit because it is for teens. So a lot of what we do with young people is through the nonprofit. And we have sponsors who are they write and ask me, you need anything? Do your teens need money to record? That they just are always asking what we need. And a lot of our young artists started out with the Sing Academies, what it's called, and those donations have helped them do their recording. And there's been country artists who noticed them. Garth Brooks is real good friends with one of our young artists, and who's now at Belmont
Yeah.
University. But and then Keith Urban called him on stage to sing. I mean, everywhere he goes, he gets invited to do these things. But he's a great singer. Logan Sanders is his name, and yeah, people love Logan. That's the thing, is having that likability about you. People
Yeah.
like you. You're easy to be around,
Yeah.
and you're talented. But it's so much of a package thing that
Mhm.
it helps if you look good and you sound good, but if you're fun to be with and you're smart and all those things, it's just, you can't just say it's one thing. It's everything. It's just like with me going with my one of my artists now to American Idol auditions. We were in that all day yesterday because they'll call me and say, who do you have? And if I have someone, then I'll tell them about it. And if they like them, they interview them. So they liked one of my artists this week and we interviewed, but um it's about the story with
Yeah.
American Idol. They like that overcoming story.
Yeah.
And so it's not really about just how well you sing anymore. It's, you got to have the story. And everybody likes to hear a good story. They like to hear the human struggle and how you overcame and how you made it, and it encourages other people to keep going. And then they got a great song and voice to go with it. So there you go.
Well, I got a story for him real quick.
Yeah.
I did the lights, sound, and the music production and all that other stuff. Biggest part of my life. And then after the third divorce, this is where you laugh. I hadn't been in the industry for a while, and I was dying to get back into something because, just as well as anybody else, the whole industry standard is like somebody's got a fish hook in your chest, and it's just like pulling you to it.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good description.
Yeah, and it just I wanted to get back into it, but I didn't want to do the lights and the sound. I just wanted to be back into industry, and that's where I had two friends of mine, Thomas and Eric. We were on a 3-way call one day, and it was just like, dude, have you thought about doing a podcast? And I'm like, what's a podcast? And then
Wow.
they got me to where I was like researching and started the whole R&D part of it and done everything I was supposed to. And then I had, some business school and some other stuff. And I just started pulling from what I learned. But the one thing I tell all these artists that are starting out, they're looking at different avenues they got to do and all this other stuff. I preach it on this show. You got to hit start the social media. You got to get a good team. You've got to have these people that you can depend on and rely on.
Yes, you do.
And build your following.
Yes, absolutely. You do. I post 3 times a day on each platform. You have to.
Yeah.
And I missed a day the other day because I was busy with the auditions with one of my clients. And like I told Jeff, my husband, I said, the algorithms are all off on my pages now because I missed one day of being busy, not being able to post. But I was waking up like at 3:30 in the morning. And they say that's the best time to post. I was just waking up because I think that's the hour of creatives. We don't sleep well.
Well, I mean, that's where I kind of get a break because my day job, I get up at 3:00 in the morning. I start work at 4 and I get off at 1:30 in the afternoon. So I'm posting stuff and doing stuff. And then my social media girl, when she wakes up, she's posting stuff and doing stuff. So But I'm still that guy that thinks that that is a mythical creature and it's called an algorithm
Uh-huh. Yeah.
because I don't think anybody ever actually hits it.
It changes all the time. It can be frustrating.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, it can be fun to figure out what's working now. Um, I
As,
just know that being consistent does help. It really does. If you just, we'll go out and video. Like the other day, we went to Jasper, Tennessee on the way to Nashville, and we
right.
filmed going over the bridge at Naked Jack. And it was
Mhm.
beautiful. I was like, I just want to get this on video. And so we drove towards the Tennessee River sign, and then we showed the river. Well, I put it on TikTok. Everybody it's got like 10,000 views right now, and it's only been up just a little bit, but everybody related, oh, I go across that bridge when I drive my truck. I go and I put one of our songs behind it so that it's another way to promote your music is you put your music behind a good video. It's good quality and everything.
Yeah.
So I chose one of our songs to play, and I don't know if a lot of people realize that, but that's royalties too on TikTok when your music is on videos. So, not just Spotify and YouTube. But anyway, we had people that related. They love that river. And they're like, oh, I live, down the road from there, or I went there camping when I was a child.
Yeah.
I drive my truck over, like I said, and just the way people related to it, and it had like this emotional attachment to that river.
Yeah.
And that's what got the views. We had no idea when we posted it that it would do that, but people love that Tennessee River.
Oh, yeah. And it's, there's kind of takes you back to, way down yonder on the Chattahoochee.
Yeah. Yeah. And simpler and peaceful times, I think too, the world's in such
Mhm.
chaos right now that when you see something like that that's so beautiful. And I mean, I'm glad you're moving to Nashville. I can't think of a better place to live than we live in Georgia. I can look out my window and see Chattanooga, but the Chattanooga tri-state area and Nashville, it really is. We got the mountains and the lakes
Oh, yeah.
and the hospitality. You got the Southern hospitality. That's something to be said about that.
Well, yeah. And that's the weird part because I'm one of those that a lot of people call a unicorn. I was actually born and raised in Nashville.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like moving back
Back
because,
home. Yeah. Well, good for
well,
you.
when you've got everybody telling you, we really wished you was back down here.
Yeah. They miss you. Time to come back home.
Yeah, a lot of people are liking the show and they're wanting to be in studio because I sat at the old kitchen table and we sat and have a talk every now and then. So a lot of
Right.
people want to get into that because it's it's just crazy how everything is now. I mean, it's you've got the whole virtual world, the
Mhm.
all that stuff, the TikTok and social media and everything else. But
Mhm.
I think there's still a drive for that down home in person, you know?
Sure there is. Yeah. Connection.
Yeah. And that's what I'm really wanting to get because if I can get the show bigger, then that means I'm reaching more people. And that means when the artist is on here, they're connecting with more people.
Right.
And I just love that whole idea of all of that.
Well, you're doing a good job with it. And, thank you for having me on to share what I do
Honey,
in music.
you got stories. That's what I love.
You have
I love
stories.
stories, man.
Oh, we got stories, all right. We just returned from performing at Carnegie Hall in
Ooh,
February,
nice.
and our elevator broke down at the Sheraton. We had to walk 15 flights of stairs. And then our Uber didn't show up. So it was raining, it was snowing, it was cold. We opened the show. We were the opening act.
Wow.
And then our Uber didn't show up. And this is on the way to the performance, not just the rehearsal. And so we're walking 5 blocks. Okay, we just came from the stairs. The elevator broke down at the Sheraton. We're walking 5 blocks. We get to Carnegie. Their elevator's torn up. So we're like climbing stairs and climbing stairs and climbing stairs. But I could not make it to my dressing room, which was on the 6th floor. And I
Yeah.
told my daughter, she was singing with us. I said, "You take the group on up. I really can't breathe." So so
Yeah.
they took me down to the lobby. I finally gathered my senses together. We went out and sang. It was electric. The best experience of my entire life was being at Carnegie Hall, really. But I came back. I noticed I had extra swelling in my ankles. My breathing was off. My nephew is a med student. He's like, "You really need to go see a doctor." I'm like, "I'm fine," because I'm
Yeah.
always on the go. But I did go to the doctor, had an abnormal EKG, and they found out I had a mild heart attack.
Holy crap.
And yes, and I was like, "When?" And they said, "Was there ever a time recently that you could not go another step and you could not breathe?" I said, "Yeah, that was Carnegie Hall. I couldn't make it to my dressing room." And I
Wow.
walked all over New York and went to see the Statue of Liberty, and it was raining and snowing and, everything. But yeah, they think that's when it was. But they say that, with women, it's the silent killer is what they call it.
Hmm.
But change my diet. I'm on the Mediterranean diet. I have to watch what I eat. Now I can't eat as many Five Guys burgers with the kids anymore. I did yesterday though. I did. I had me a Five Guys burger yesterday, and that's my burger for the month.
Well,
And but I went today and got a little heart monitor. I'm like, really? I am like go, go, go all the time. I have a lot of energy, but I did notice my energy had dropped a little. And I was like, what is wrong with me? And so, yeah, found out that I had a mild heart attack.
that is insane.
Blew my mind. And it was at Carnegie, of all places.
Did
But I
you?
had a good time directing after my heart attack. I did.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I was sitting there thinking, did you tell the doc you had to blame it on Carnegie Hall?
I did.
That's
Yeah,
that's one of those things that kind of like Carnegie Hall would be like on the top of my list of places to perform.
it was mine too.
But then you one upped it and throwed a heart attack on top of it.
I do things big, David.
Is there any other way to be?
No, and you know what? There's just like I don't even know how we got to Carnegie. And my Jeff, my husband's always like, "You do all these things like how?" I was like, I really don't know. They just happen. Like I started directing this group of really talented soloists that I was working with, and we called it American All-Star Voices. And we started last August, went to the studio in Nashville to record our first single 6 weeks after our first rehearsal. And then Tucker Carlson and the people from the GOP, not that we're for any political party or not, we're just saying who invited us. So
Right.
we went and sang for the political event, and then after that we did a music video, and then after that we got invited to Carnegie. I wasn't pursuing Carnegie. Somebody saw the kids sing and asked if we'd like to open the show. And so we did, and we toured New York City. And that was about the 10th time I've been to New York with a group because I've been to Radio City Music Hall, and but I hadn't been there in a while. But so when Carnegie opened up, then that was just a spectacular event. And then with this American Idol being interested in one of our artists, it's just like boom, 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 boom. No wonder, no wonder I had a heart
Oh, yeah.
attack from all the excitement.
Yeah, that would have got me too. I mean, I just, you had me at the stairs.
Yeah, I remember going up those stairs, and I could not make it one more step. And I told him, I said, I can't move.
Yeah.
And I was hyperventilating. I was breathing, I never once thought I was having a heart attack. I didn't. That's not what I pictured a heart attack being like. I thought,
Yeah.
you pass out from pain. I didn't know you could keep going.
Yeah.
Um,
That's crazy. But yeah,
yeah.
we when we was at the Nashville Convention Center where the CMA Fest is, we parked way on the other side, and then we had to load everything up, and then we're carrying all that stuff over, and then we got to go through a lobby, down a long hallway, and we were doing like you had to get in an elevator, go up one floor, walk across, get on the elevator on the other side, go down, and then walk all the way around. And I was just like, I was out of breath.
Yeah.
And the time we got over there, then okay, now we got to put everything together and get set up and get ready. I felt like a roadie all over again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an exciting life, though. If I died on that stage of Carnegie, I'd have gone to heaven happy.
Yeah, they
I mean, I do what I love. And I have to be careful. I get so excited with the opportunities that some of these young people have. And I'm like, I got to be careful that I don't overdo it. But then I thought, I'm just going to live my life to the fullest.
mhm.
And I'm going to get excited with them. And I'm going to keep going and doing all these once in a lifetime. That's what we call it, once in a lifetime performing opportunities. That's
Yeah.
what we provide. And I'm going to keep doing that as long as I can. I might have a few health issues here and there. I might have to wear a heart monitor, but I'm going to go.
Well, I don't know about you, but when like some of these younger artists and everything, when I hear about something they've achieved or something they've accomplished, just like
Oh,
I I get a sense of kind of like your kids. You kind of proud of them,
oh yeah. It's
you
like
know,
it
and
happens to you too.
yeah. Well, that's what was weird because a friend of ours, friend of the show that we've supported a lot is well, she did announce it, so I can say Taylor Hughes. She
Mhm.
had her baby, her first baby.
Yeah.
And at that same time, she got a CMA membership also. She got
Wow.
accepted in CMAs. And I was just like, I'm not even related to these people. And I'm just like proud parent over here. I'm
Yeah.
just,
Oh yeah.
it just makes me so happy, because when people's lives go good and they make certain accomplishments and certain things and they're living life, they're loving life, it just makes me proud as I'll get out.
Yeah, it's all about giving, you know.
Hmm.
I'm a singer and I did a lot of singing when I was younger. I still sing. I do a lot of background vocals in the studio
Well, I
as a
figured your
producer.
daughter got it from somewhere.
Yeah, and she's a lot better than I am, but and her dad was very talented too. He passed away about 3 years ago. But um something interesting about Avery is that we have music in our family. So
Mhm.
my mother sings, my dad sings, my grandmother was a wonderful singer, and she passed away at 103 years old. We have
Wow.
good genes, so that's one thing, thinking I'm gonna keep going because my grandmother was 103. But she would always tell us a story, and she could sing, but she would say, Nashville wanted me as a star when I was younger, but my mama wouldn't let me because she said that wasn't ladylike.
Yeah.
Don't know why it wasn't ladylike, but anyway, Avery's there, and she's pursuing the music dream. I produced there, so Avery and I were talking the other day, and Avery's also, she's very gifted with special needs children, and my grandmother was, because
Yeah.
she taught school, and she taught school in Nashville a little bit, and she worked with special needs kids. But so much of our grandmother, we've kind of carried on, with would people want her to be in Nashville and be in music, and
That's
now we work there, so it's like we're carrying out a legacy that was a dream at once that maybe never got to do that, but we're
yeah,
doing it at our own pace and in our own little world here and in our own way of doing music. Uh and it's those having that family music is something. I think I call it generational blessings. I
yeah,
think God gives families gifts,
yeah.
and ours was music. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that.
Thank you.
And you're going to have to tell her that she needs to be on the lookout because I might just surprise pop up when she's in Broadway somewhere.
She would love that. She's at Rippy's a lot. She's at Margaritaville. She's started out at Tootsie's, and then she
Yeah.
does some hotels, but she's starting to get hired for studio work because she has a studio inside her apartment, like so many of us do have studios at home. But she's busy. That would thrill her to death if you showed up to hear her sing. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna tell her to look for you.
Yeah. Tell her if you see this old guy out in the audience and he starts heckling you, that's probably David.
Okay. It's something to see your own child pursue and live out a dream that you have too.
Yeah.
Avery has gone a different route than I did, and I like that. I was in gospel music for years, and then I have branched out into film and television and all kinds of stuff with music. But to see her just make her own way, and there might be times that I would say, you know what, why don't you do this? Oh, Mom, I'm going to do it my way. I know that's the way you did it, but I want to do it my way, and it's working for her, and I'm
Yeah.
glad. You know. It's
Well, I
good to
mean, you
yeah,
got to
good to
realize
see.
too, she's listened to you all these years and she learned. She's not doing it mama's way, but she's doing what she learned from mama and she's putting her own spin on it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think she gets her drive from me for sure.
Yeah.
But she is doing a totally different route. But she could sing at a very young age, and she started singing. I directed a little elementary chorus, and she would sing with those kids when she was 3 years old, and they
Hmm.
would back her up even at three.
Yeah.
And then she, went on from there and studied music and studied songwriting, and she's
Well,
she has a different style than what I do. Even with songwriting, she has her own style, and that's good. I'm glad. I like to see. I love her songs, and Jeff and I go around. We'll get in the car and sing along with Avery. He has an upright bass, so sometimes in the
yeah.
morning he'll get up and play Avery on the playlist and start playing along with her bass. And she actually let him play with her in a hotel there in Nashville, and that was fun for me to watch. My
Oh, yeah.
family was there together.
You could have did backup vocals.
She did not ask me.
Uh,
She
uh,
asked Jeff.
wait a minute. I think I started a fight here. Uh oh.
Jeff's over here. She goes, he asked me.
That figures.
Oh yeah, they
Man.
have a good relationship. Avery, I mean, I've been single for a long time, um, but she really never proved of anybody I dated, but she likes Jeff. And yeah, she loves you. And my son really loves Jeff too. And I do. I
Well,
love
I
you,
was
David.
fixing to say you couldn't have been just along for the ride. You had to love him too. I mean,
Jeff and I met at a film festival in Nashville. And
mhm.
I really wasn't too hip on going to it that day. And I told my friends, I said, I'm just going to turn and go back home. I really don't feel like networking and all that. I know I need to, but I'm tired, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, you need to go because you might meet people for um to have your music in their films, and you might meet the one. And I was like, okay, I'll go. I don't
Yeah.
think I'm going to meet the one, but I'll go. So I walked in. Jeff was the third person that I met, and I gave him my business card. and he sat behind me texting me because he had my number and he was making me laugh because he's hysterical. And so I was laughing and I wasn't supposed to. It was a serious moment. And I texted him. I was like, "Where are you?" And he's like, "Sitting right behind you." So I turned around and he's like right behind me. And he asked if he could come up and sit with me. So we had the best time and we hit it off. He invited me on one of his movie sets and or filming sets for a documentary. Yeah, he rode up on a horse to meet me. And
The white
then he
knight.
took me out on his boat and then we started dating. 6 weeks later, we got engaged. And 6 weeks later after that, we got married.
Wow.
He
That is crazy as all get out.
gave me a heart attack. Boom, boom, boom. That was so fast. Gave me a heart attack.
You know, it's crazier things have happened in life.
Well, I have to say he's a wonderful husband, and he does keep me laughing, and he's so supportive. You know,
Yeah.
everything I do, he's right in there with me, and my artists, young artists, love him, and we all hang out together, and he looks a lot younger than me. I'll have to say that. And when I he's only a year younger than me, but when I first started dating him and I posted pictures of us online, then I had some of my younger artists I was working with call me and they said, "Miss Thor, what are you doing dating that boy? Huh? Why are you dating a boy?"
Uh-oh. Well, you know, sometimes it just happens that way.
It looked like I robbed the cradle, but I really didn't. He's 1 year younger than me. His birthday was just this past week. So if you look on my Facebook, you'll see this big M&M cake. It's got Kit
Yeah.
Kats around with all this chocolate and an M&Ms. He's in heaven. I
Oh, I
scored
can
big on
imagine.
that one. Yeah, I scored big on that one.
That sounds good. Honey, we got to get off here. I want to appreciate you so much for being on my show. This
You're
has been
so
so much
welcome.
fun.
Thank
And
you.
next time we'll just get the whole family in and we'll just
Oh,
have
that'd
a
be
lot of fun.
fun. Yeah, that would be fun. Yes, thank you, David, for having me. And I appreciate the invitation. And thank you for what you do for so many artists out there and
Thank
producers now. So, and I'm a vocal coach. That's mainly what I do, vocal coach and produce vocals. So,
Yeah,
yeah, good
I
stuff.
probably need a lot of work, but anyway,
I help. I help.
I appreciate it. Hey, hon, tell everybody where they can find you.
www.sherrythrower, like you throw a ball, .net. I have just kept my website and my business name the same because too many people know me by Thrower.
Uh-huh.
My other married name from my husband passed away. But yeah, sherrythrower.net. And I'm on Facebook, Sheri Thrower Yarbrough. I am Yarbrough on there. I'm on TikTok, producer Sheri Thrower. I'm on Instagram, producer Sheri Thrower, Sheri Thrower producer.
Yeah.
Just look me up, Sheri Thrower. SHERI, one R, one I.
What happened? I don't know what that was.
You scared the crap out of the cat.
Good. It didn't need to be mine. I mean, anyway.
She jumped so high from a dead sleep.
Good. All right, Sheri, I appreciate you being on, hun, and hopefully everybody will look you up. And we're going to have to do this again because this has been so much fun.
It has been fun. Thank you.
All right,
Yeah,
hun,
let's do it again. Thank you, David.
we'll do it. And tell everybody bye. And y'all look up Sheri, and she can help you with your career and all kinds of stuff and your vocals, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, I help you to sing, not sing, but sang.
I love it. All right, girl. We'll catch you later.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, everybody. So y'all look up Sheri and check all of her stuff out because she has a lot of really good, interesting things about what she is offering and helping everybody with. And trust me, if you're coming to Nashville, you need good people to help you. And that's, I can't say that enough. You need good, honest people to help you. So y'all check her out and look into everything that she can provide you. And maybe y'all can come to a good understanding and help each other out. And you can get your career up and rolling with all the other crazy people that's out here. All right, we're going to get out of here. I think we got a show tomorrow. I believe we're going to have Sarah Angel on at 3 p.m. tomorrow. That's a live show also. It's going to be fun. But I'm getting out of here. Caitlin, thank you so much again for doing the wonderful job that you do. All right, everybody. Love you. Mean it. Bye.